speak?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the property rights issue. And in my case, I derive a major part of my income from agriculture. I raise beef cattle down on Monogamy Road. And my concern is that at the moment, I would be considered grandfathered. But when you read all the articles and hear all the communication that's been going on through the valley, it seems that there's no such a thing as grandfathered, or it can be a legal matter which is going to cost somebody a lot of money to try to continue to do what they're ecologically already doing. So my concern is, what is the cost to the individual that is in agriculture that does use over the 10,000 gallons? There's been reported figures of up to $250,000 to meet the requirements of the planning board. I'd like to know if that's accurate, and what is the estimate by the planning board as to the cost if I did choose to draw more than 10,000 gallons.
Do you want to speak to that?
Okay. This is separate from my technical.
Okay.
First of all, there is a provision in this ordinance. First of all, I truly believe that if you have been using the water, groundwater, this is a groundwater ordinance. Not bulk water extraction, it's to control groundwater use. That's its core focus, that's all it does. Drawing water out of wells from the ground. Number one, if you're already using it, my belief, from my understanding of the law, is you have a full right and you are protected. If you did that before any ordinance was in place, you're grandfathered. Secondly, this ordinance, or this proposed ordinance, recognizes the agricultural situation in this way. There's a provision in here that would allow agricultural users to go to the Agricultural Water Board of the state of Maine, which is developing requirements with respect to agricultural water use. In other words, we recognize as a state that there's another environment in which we're dealing with that, and we give you that option in a sense to go there and to show that what they use the term safe yield. And under that board, which you would be subject to, you would demonstrate safe yield. I don't know the cost of that. They're developing their own regulations now. We've had some consultations with them, but this ordinance refers to that. With respect to other, if you're not going to the board, there's a provision in here that says that if you can show generally that there's no significant negative impact, the planning board can give you the right to go forward under the permit process. And if the board has some doubts, though, about whether there is some impact, they can ask you to do appropriate studies. There's no clear notion as to what that would be. This is not the word vocabulary we're talking about. It's as big as the flood. It's a different kind of environment. So you can't estimate that until you can actually do your own studies to show you have a safe yield. But you got the option to go to the agricultural water utility board. That's my technical answer. I'll stand in line for questions. Go ahead. To the degree I can, that answers.
Well, I'd still like to know what the cost is to meet the board's requirements.
That
There's got to be a cost. If I chose not to go to the state, and I chose to go to the board, where is the criteria of exactly what you're going to ask for, and what's the cost of that?
There is no, I can't answer that because it depends on your situation. And under the existing ordinance, the same thing would apply. If you wanted to develop a new well, you would need to come in and make that case that there's no impact. But if the board, seeking to protect other resources in other situations, felt that some studies needed to be made, they could require it.
Well, then why didn't the board feel that was required down here when you let Poland Spring in?
Because the situation is this. The Fiber Water Company developed a well. Prior to the time that the town passed an ordinance requiring a 10,000 gallon per day permit requirement. That Fiber Water Company well is being used to sell water to Pure Mountain Springs, which is being used to sell water to Poland Springs. Last year, a suit was filed to require them to do that. The Supreme Court of the state of Maine last year found that those rights were grandfathered. This ordinance cannot take those rights away. They did what they did before there was an ordinance in place. This ordinance seeks to make sure that that doesn't happen in the same way again.